your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.
Welcome back to Talk and Power podcast, episode number 235. I am your host, Michelle Morrison, and joining me, as always, are my co-hosts, Nick DeCimbre and Simon Gonzo Travellini. How are we going, boys?
Michelle, how you going?
Very well. Kicking it off with some news. In the latest Supercar news, Brock Feeney has won the Jason Richards Memorial Trophy after a traumatic finish to the Christchurch round, capitalising on late issues for Ryan Wood. Feeney also moves into the championship lead. The opening of the New Zealand doubleheader was at Taupō Motorsport Park, which was heavily affected by an expected cyclone, forcing late schedule changes and the cancellation of one race. The standout moment was Ryan Wood taking a historic home victory, delivering Toyota's first ever Supercars race win. It was off to the South Island for the first ever Supercars round in the South Island, held at Rupana Motorsport Park, completing the New Zealand doubleheader. Matt Payne dominated, scoring a compounding win in the headline race, while the weekend also featured Kai Allen's maiden Supercars victory and intense multi-brand battles as drivers fought for overall New Zealand honours. In the latest NASCAR news, we saw a horrific old-school flip and roll for Carson Culverpitch and the O'Reilly series. Thankfully, he was okay. In the end, Taylor Gray in the Joe Gibbs Supra took the win in the Kansas Lottery 300 from Kansas Speedway. It was another win for the 2311 Tyler Reddick in his Toyota Camry, winning over Hendrick's Chevrolet Camaro of Carl Larson and Chase Briscoe in the Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota Camry, in third place at Kansas Speedway for the Advent Health 400. So tell me, boys, what has been happening? School holidays are all done and dusted. Simon, are you happy to have the routine of school back?
No, I like having the kids around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do.
It was the first for me that I really understood. I've heard parents say before, like, oh, thank goodness school's back. And I always thought, like, oh, that's a bit sad, that you feel that way and that it's been that experience for you. This was my first school holidays that I was working, because previously I had a lot of flexibility at my previous role and was able to work around my kids a lot. And it was full on and busy for them, just active every single day, not much downtime at all. And being overtired meant extra emotional, and I was actually looking forward to getting back into some routine with school. I feel a lot more calm in the house now.
Yeah. We had our first scratch match at football training.
Oh, that's right. You're at Kingsway now.
Yes. And I did not realise how exciting watching under 9s play could possibly be.
Year 3?
Yeah.
So that's opens mods. Sorry, that's mods. So you'll play other teams. Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
So they had a scratch match between. They have 3 divisions.
Yep.
And they had a scratch match between 2 of the, I think it was teal and white.
Yep.
Played each other, and I couldn't believe it. I had to stop and go, why am I so excited?
It is, of course.
Junior football, Linda's been a part of it. She still is. She's still on the committee, even though my boys have both stopped playing junior football now.
She's at Balcatta, yeah?
Yeah, she's still at Still Saints, yeah, and loves every moment of it. And, it's once you're indoctrinated, it becomes part of your life. Yeah. I certainly enjoyed it. And I got to see... There's a kid you may have heard of, or some of the listeners may have heard of, Jacob Farrow, plays for Essendon. He's number 10 draft pick. He actually played with Nicholas for 2 years at Whitfords.
Yeah. Yep.
And when I saw that kid, I knew he was something special in his team. And, and he's now playing for Essendon. And he's playing well too.
Yeah.
And, you will find these kids in life as you progress through junior football. I loved every moment of it, being part of junior football.
Yep.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. So there's that.
Is there going to be a stage where both of your boys will be able to fit in the same age bracket?
Oh, that's a Nick question.
No. They'll always be separate until they get to... So after they finish year 12, then there's a potential that they may play in the same Colts team somewhere. After year 12, but up until year 12, they'll play... Because they're 2 years apart, aren't they?
A year and a half.
No, but in school years?
No, 1 year.
So, yes, there is a potential if if your younger one, Peter, he can play up.
Yeah.
So he can play up for a year. You can only do it 2 consecutive years. So if there's no team for him in his year group, he can play up. So they could play together, yes.
Yeah.
Only because they're 1 year
But it's
apart
the
if they were
school
2.
year.
I couldn't.
Yeah, it goes by
year's the
school
issue.
year. It doesn't go by birth year.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
tried to scam it so they were on the same team, but they wanted a birth certificate, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
work.
see, because my girls are a year and a half as well, but because Cleo's July, they're 2 school years,
yeah.
Yeah.
and I was trying to work out to see.
They're going to go down the
Be done.
football path as well.
Trent wants to actually. Yeah, he's been Luna has been saying she wants to do everything and anything and everything at the moment, and we're saying like you got to be picking one. But I think Trent's doing the same. He's saying, get him into t-ball and football.
Yeah.
And I desperately want to get Cleo into BMX.
Yeah.
She would just
Well,
love that.
my niece races. There's this type of motorcycle racing that they do on the go-kart track at Wanneroo, and she invited us down for a practice night, and she had ulterior motives because she was like, "Oh, look, there's kids your age that are doing this. Hey, come meet the instructor."
It's on the go-kart track.
It's on the go-kart track, and yeah, they start at 6.
Oh, wow. I'll have to check it out.
And so the boys were like, "Hey, Dad, can we do that?" And we're like, "Oh, I don't know, guys. Like, you haven't really, maybe we just get you a bike first." And
Because there's the junior motocross track
no, this is on the
behind
bitumen
it as well. But on the bitumen, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
So the classes, there was a big wheel class. Mm-hmm. I don't know the sizes. Then there was the class that she runs in with it. It's like a grown-up's bike, but it's got really small tyres on it.
But like a motocross bike.
So yeah, they either
Trail
have
bike.
converted motocross bikes,
Yeah.
or there's some sort of specific to that.
Yeah, right.
And there's 4 strokes and 2 strokes, and then there's a postie bike class.
Cool.
And one of my customers who actually used to work for me, he was like, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I told him, oh, yeah, Steph, I know Steph,
Yeah.
And I said, "What are you doing here?" And he goes, "My wife and my daughter race." So the wife races the postie bike class,
Yeah.
and the daughter races the big wheel. I think they might be 150s.
Yeah,
The big-
150s. I was going to say, I think the big wheel specification comes in at 150.
Yeah.
I think, or actually, no, they do 125s.
in
as
the
well.
2 strokes.
In the no, there are 4 strokes with it
As
too.
well, yeah.
But yeah, the big wheels. I think Yamaha do.
So there was this guy down there, and he was getting the knee down hard, right? And Nicole was going, "That guy has lapped everyone here in like a 10-lap race 3 times," right? I said to Steph, "Who's that guy?" "Oh, yeah, he races World Superbikes."
Oh, God.
"What is he doing here?" "Oh, this is he says it keeps him sharp." But it was like he was slaughtering him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was.
Gives them a confident boost at least.
Anyway, so yeah, there was this one kid who was really good, probably about 9 years old, really good, really talented, getting the knee down, etc. And he couldn't touch the ground, so his dad had to sort of hold the bike up, and he could touch the ground if he leant over, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
with one foot down. Anyway, he came in, and Dad went over, and I said, "Hey, Steph, next time you invite us down and you're trying to get, us into this, maybe make sure there's less people with knee frames on hobbling around." Not a good look.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh gosh. And what about you, Nick? What have you been up to?
I had a pretty busy weekend. I was working, bailing up field days. That was
weekend or month?
Yeah, you have had a lot
Yeah.
going on with work for the
Yes.
weekend.
So yeah, had that on the weekend, and then we had our car club 5th anniversary on Sunday. So that
Oh,
was
great.
yesterday, and it was quite a good day. The weather was nice to us. So weather was nice on both days actually. So yeah, no, I've had a bit on. That's about it, really.
Yeah, I'm spewing I didn't make it to the...
Yeah, all your mates, all your high school buddies were all there. I'll send you the photo.
I know.
Where did you go? What did you do for it?
We do it at Main Street, 128 Main Street. There's a big car park there. We have it there. We put on bacon and egg burgers for our members and
nice.
coffee as well. So, yeah,
Beautiful.
it's just a 2-hour get-together.
Yeah.
It happened to coincide with the Classic Car Show this year, but they had shifted their dates.
Rescheduled,
Yeah, and it coincided with our date, so we couldn't avoid that. But, yeah, we still got a great turnout. We had about 250 people there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was a big turnout. Actually, saw
Very
Vince Belladonna. He came
Yep.
down. He came down with his son and his grandson. Have you ever seen his grandson?
No.
Oh my
Not
God,
for a
there
while.
is Cute.
Which
and
one?
then
Because
the
he's
younger
got two
one.
now.
Yeah, the younger one.
yeah.
I haven't seen the older one.
The older one I've seen at Woolies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There is Cute, and then there is this kid. He is off the scale in terms of cuteness. He's one of the cutest kids. And Camelo was telling us, actually, a lot of the
So this
teachers...
is Camelo's son.
youngest son. Like, all the teachers want to hug there at school. So he's so gorgeous, this kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, now so Vince, it was good to see Vince down there as well. Yeah, it was a good...
They're a great family, eh?
Yeah, awesome family. Yep. So that was me. That was all I got up to, really.
Yeah, we had a rally bash on Saturday, and then we had something on Sunday. I can't even remember. But I remember that I wanted to do something else on Saturday, and I didn't realise, and I went into work, and Nicole rings me and goes, we got to be at Carl's house, don't you? And I'm like, oh.
Close the roller door, shut the gate.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Out of there.
Somewhere to be.
How about yourself, Michelle?
I actually went to round 2 of the WA Sporting Car Club's series on the weekend. So that was my first event at work, my first race meet. So
tell us a bit, because we probably rushed you a little bit last week because we ran out of time. So fill us in with both gigs, I guess.
Yeah, both, and then the other one as well.
Oh, okay.
So I'm about 6 weeks into my new role now as marketing and communications manager for the WA Sporting Car Club. And
has it been 6 weeks?
Motormore Wanneroo Raceway, 6 weeks. And it's in some moments it seems like it's gone really fast, and then I think of the amount of things that have gone into my brain and have expanded my mind over the last 6 weeks, and it's like, well, yeah, it's pretty full. But it's been really amazing, and it's been a really exciting start. A lot of what I'm doing at the moment so far has been behind the scenes, laying the foundations and building a really strong and consistent brand identity for the raceway, and setting up how we communicate moving forward. For a long time there, the venue hasn't really had anyone dedicated in this space, so it's been a bit of a blank canvas and a reset for me, and how I'm looking at everything, and with how the raceway presents visually, and how we tell stories, and how we connect with competitors, fans, media outlets, and corporate sponsors, and the broader motorsport community. I'm really excited because there's a lot coming that people haven't seen yet, and once it starts rolling out, I think it will give the raceway a much stronger identity and presence. But something that's really important to highlight is that Motormore Wanneroo Raceway, it's actually owned by the WA Sporting Car Club, and I think from like a public's perspective that isn't seen too clearly. But the club built the track, and it's been the heart of motorsport in Western Australia for decades, and so that history is something that I really want to be leaning into as well. There's so much legacy there, but also big opportunity to evolve and bring new energy to it all. And with the new direction of Russell Avis, the general manager, he's been in the role for a year now, but Russell comes from being the general manager of Winternationals, arguably the biggest motorsport festival in Australia. And what that means for Wanneroo Raceway is we've now got someone at the helm who really understands how to build an experience and not just run an event, but having the dedicated role focused on communications and marketing. We're in a position to really grow and connect better and put the raceway on the map in a bigger way. So, still early days yet, but particularly with our corporate sponsors, with Motormore coming on as naming rights sponsor for the venue now, everything that they do is very loud and big and bold, and their marketing for their own business in itself is really eye-catching and bold, and they've really built such a strong network around their company as well. So, yes, I can't wait to let you all see what I'm working with.
The race that you attended, that was an actual round?
Yeah, so that was the club's round, And so
how many classes did they...
It runs across 2 days. So how they do it is they split their classes across 2 separate days. And so for our experience at the drags, where it's long days and with significant breaks in between, they had. I went for Saturdays, and I saw a majority of Saturdays racing, and then I actually went back on Sunday so I could see how the presentations ran at the end of the event as well. And some of the rounds. Some of the. I have to get my terminology right because there's a lot of words that are, different words but same meaning, but I've got the drag racing spec.
But I mean, it's a bit like the drags. They don't have eliminations.
Well,
He's been hanging to say that. He's not been waiting.
yeah.
I just thought of it then, actually.
But from memory, there's about 6 or 7 at least. I think there's 3 on one day and 4 on another. There was
more than I would say that there was, I think, 5 for Saturday. But then some of those rounds of racing, there were 12 minutes on track, 15 minutes. They say 15 minutes plus 1 lap. So it's when the 15 minutes are up. It's not like how many laps. My brain's coming from drag racing and speedway, and I'm like, how many laps do you do? And okay, no, it's a time, and then 1 more lap afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know how we go with laps.
Quick pack of the parachutes.
We'd be like, I think that was 1.
Look, there was a time when it was a 25-minute turnaround and I packed the chutes before the boys had picked me up in the tow car.
Oh yeah, I know. That was fun back in those days.
But
now it's like 5 hours and then 15 minutes.
Yeah. But then there was 40 minutes for production cars on Sunday. So it seemed like the format for the Sunday was a little bit different. But yeah, it was really great. It was really great to see the venue being run as its club event in itself, because that was something that I hadn't experienced before, to see how, I'm taking everything in when I'm there. I'm taking photos of every blank wall. I'm taking photos of where people are parking on the grass, where people are sitting, where they're the spaces where the crowd favour and what could be there, what's there instead. And I suppose I've gotten very comfortable very quickly, but I'm working with a really great team. I want to be mindful of, respecting what has already been done and working within my roles. But I am just the type of person who's always thinking and expanding and throwing out ideas, and it's being very well welcomed so far. So,
as a spectator, what was your favourite class?
Different for different reasons.
Touring cars.
Story touring.
It's different. It's different for different reasons, and I suppose because they're all on track at once, then I'm looking at the classes that have a bigger field and they're tighter racing.
Yep.
But then I said this about the reasons for why I chose, and for me and my dad, we chose to get an altered, was because it doesn't look like a street car. It looks like a race car. So then I really love the Formula V side of it and the open wheelers.
What about the Arise cars? You like them?
There wasn't the Arise cars as much racing, unless they were a bit more on the, because they were the Formula Fords, right? And they were racing more on Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah, didn't see as much of those.
Are they the ones with the motorcycle engine?
Yeah, with the Hayabusa.
I thought they were called Formula 1000 or something.
No, Arise is the company.
Yeah, but
does
they
the
have
training.
Yeah, but they have their
Formula 4s.
No, they're called something else. I can't remember the name. That escapes me now.
Yeah, I thought it was Formula 1000 or something.
They've got the Hayabusa engine in them.
Yeah, maybe. I thought they had 1000cc engines.
They look like an old McLaren. They're open, but they're left-hand drive. They're not center steer.
They're not center steer. No. Wow. Are you sure? I think you're talking about the hill climb cars.
No,
because they have a Hayabusa-based engine. So it's often a V8 version of the Hayabusa. Aerial Atom or something is the.
No, that's something else again. Yeah.
But yes, I certainly have a lot to learn within the circuit racing side of things, and learning the different cars and classes and categories, because they've got the super stock and super sedan.
Yeah, they got street car, sports sedan.
Yeah. And so, my question is, are they engine size restricted? Are they year restricted? Are they weight? How are they grouping these classes? Because some of them, they actually run them all together.
So the street car, which is my favourite class, down there.
Radicals.
Yeah.
they're called.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah, but
radicals.
they're a hill climb car.
They weren't.
No,
they weren't
on the
racing.
circuit.
They weren't racing on the weekend. I think.
They have a formula for the weight, the tyre size, and the size of the engine.
Yeah.
And I think it's displayed somewhere on the car because they're
Okay.
set. And then the saloon cars, I think they're primarily based on, the Commodores and the Falcons.
EA and VN. from
Yeah,
memory,
yeah. And then you got the Appendix, Appendix J, and they're I think there's a lot of rules surrounding them with weight and year and
Yeah.
whatever. And then the sports sedans have a minimum weight, engine size, depending on whether it's turbocharged or naturally aspirated,
Yeah.
and they have to retain. I think it's the roof and the quarter or part,
Yeah,
the top half
yeah.
of the quarter panel, or
And
something.
6
C
litre.
pillar.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, it
6
used to be
litre, isn't it?
6 litre. Yeah.
I think it's.
And then a lot of the other stuff, they just make it fit wherever because someone's bought,
Yeah.
Yeah.
an
yeah.
ex-supercar or...
Well, like I speak enough about how passionate I am about educating the spectators, and in my role now, that will be part of my job
Yeah.
as well. So I really need to be learning and understanding these categories and classes as well. But there is just some other stuff that I'm working on for the time being.
I was a bit shocked with... I was looking at some speedway rules because I had an inquiry for some, vehicle stuff, and I was trying to find a set of rules for this particular class. And then I found a set and I read it and I went, oh, that's not right because this guy is specifically asking me about this stuff, which is illegal in this class. And it turns out that the Victorian rules are different for this particular...
Well, is it they don't run on Speedway Australia or?
No, they run the Victorian Speedway Association.
So
or something.
like the licensing for the WA Sporting Car Club, these cars are licensed with Motorsport Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more
But it was just interesting that
website that I need to take a deep dive into.
It was just interesting that they had another set of rules because, drag racing's, even across IHRA and ANDRA, it's still fairly uniform,
I feel like it's become more uniformed, but there was...
It's just Pro Mod and Supercharged Outlaws is really different. You know what I mean? Like Super Sedan, Super Street, Modified.
I mean, like my mind just goes straight to Shane Catalano. He just finds out that Riverbend was IHRA sanctioned, and then he doesn't fit into the criteria for top door slammer for IHRA and needs to make changes to his car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, didn't you see that? As soon as it came out that it was IHRA sanctioned, and I feel like it was probably 6 weeks before the event or something.
What did he have to change?
He then posted on social media saying well, I suppose that's me out. I don't have this and that, and people were either saying, oh, you could probably time you switched across to that anyway, or they gave him a lot of words of encouragement to you can do it and there's still time and. Push it over the edge and get it through. And they
maybe it's
busted their ass.
the auto shutdown system or something.
Not particular sure on what exactly it was, but I think, he just thought that the time that he had wasn't going to make it possible, and then to be able to see that he got it over the line and was able to contend was really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But my mind just goes straight to that.
Yeah, they've got some weird,
And then-
there was reference to a lot of SFI stuff, and it's like, well, you have to send it back to America to get it SFI'd, by rights. But maybe they got Australian people that are doing the SFI certification. SFI is a bit of a joke now. So we tried to get SFI certification for our flex plates because we make oddball ones from time to time, like Subaru to Powerglide or stuff like that. And they wanted us to supply X amount of units to get them. This was 20 years ago, to get them destructively tested, and we had to pay for the testing, and we had to join the association. We had to do this, we had to do that. And then I started seeing this really badly manufactured Chinese stuff coming through that had SFI stickers, and I always get customers telling me, oh, this is SFI. And I look at it going, this is junk. Like the welds, there's no penetration on the welds. The fillet's the wrong size for what it's doing. And
Have you seen the list
of
SFI manufacturers?
no, what this is what. So
There's a list.
I rang the
I've seen
guy
it.
up. I rang up SFI, and I spoke to someone there, and I said, "Hey, we've been seeing these flex plates like they're actually failing, and they're SFI'd." And he goes, "Yeah, and why are you calling me?" I said, well, it's got your sticker on it, you know. And he goes, No, the onus is on the manufacturer. And I said, but it used to be that you had to supply the stuff and get it tested, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, oh, look, yeah, maybe it was like that, but that's not how it is now. You pay the membership fee, you buy the stickers off us, and the onus is on you that it meets...
Wow. I wonder if that,
so
I wonder if that goes across into
yeah.
safety gear and stuff as well, because when you think about like SFI rated, that's your fire rating and, and everything. And then if you say, oh no, they've just paid for the membership, your fire suit's going to go up in flames.
Yeah, self-regulated. A lot of electronics now are self-regulated so that it doesn't impede in electromagnetic noise.
Yeah.
So that's all self-regulated now. It's a joke.
Yeah.
And then you get the actual C-tick sticker.
I know
you stick that on, and that's it. It's incumbent on the supplier, the manufacturer, to.
Is this why there's so many high rises falling down in Sydney?
Oh gosh,
it's crazy.
It's a bit nerve wracking because you look for those. You look for those certification,
especially SFI.
I have no issue, and I'll make this clear. The fire suits that you and I have worn, the helmets that we've worn over the years, all quality manufacturers from the US have no issues with any of that stuff. But I am a little bit dubious about some of the other brands that has it.
And I just some of these businesses are third party now.
Yeah.
You know, they might be the ones that you're speaking to and put the order through with, but
drop ship.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well, I have seen
that's the concern.
The lugs that hold the torque converter onto the flex plate snap clean off of them.
Yeah.
Right.
And I suppose that's the thing. If the one that they showed to get their certification was, I don't know, the right metal density.
No, but according to the guy from SFI, they don't do it.
They don't do it
So
at
they
all.
regulate it themselves. So they do their own testing in-house. They have files and documents where they've done the testing. For those listening, I'm doing inverted commas.
Inverted commas,
But
testing.
it's a huge scam.
Concerning, isn't it?
Well, I mean, they could turn around and say, well, the Chinese company tested it.
Yeah, but they do. Even the seat... Yeah, anyway, I better not talk too much. I'll get in trouble.
There.
Well,
speaking of Andra.
Yeah, while we're speaking of Andra, over the weekend...
It wasn't the segue that I was anticipating, that one.
No, while we're speaking drag racing, over the weekend, the 2025-2026 Andra Regional Sportsman Championship wrapped up with its grand final at the Dragway at the Bend, which was on April 18th, Saturday. And what a way to close out the season. The Bend continues to prove itself as one of the standout venues on the national calendar. It's fast and it's world class, and it really rewards the team that can put a whole package together, not just horsepower, but consistency, decision making and execution under pressure. And that's exactly what a championship comes down to. Anyone can have a good weekend, but putting together a full season in sportsman racing across different tracks, changing conditions and all the variables that we deal with, that is a serious effort. I would know. No. Massive credit to all the competitors, crews, officials and volunteers who make the season what it was. And congratulations to the following winners. Event winners for... Three-dimensional construction supergas was Graham Spencer. For junior dragster, congratulations to Todd Wagner. For junior drag bike, Cooper Plummer. Ballistics performance parts modified bike was Peter Barlett. Goodyear Racing Super Street, Stefan Lanus. South Australia Drag Racers Association Super Sedan, Michael Vlasakakis. Gosh, I'm going to have to...
Oh, you're doing well.
I'm going to have to check that one. Gallagher Modified, Daniel Kassar. New Gen Business Park Supercharged Outlaws, Lachlan Walker. For Top Sportsman, it was Tony Miskelly. And New Gen Business Park Competition Bike, Edge Malice. And in Supercomp, it was Craig Geddes. And for the Andra Sportsman Championship, congratulations to Graham Spencer from Supergas, Zane Condello from Junior Dragster, Cooper Plummer in Junior Drag Bike, Dean Jameson in modified bike, Stefan Lanus in super street, Daryl Russell in super sedan, Adriana Cartledge for modified, Shane Baxter in supercharged outlaws, Tommy Turek in top sportsman, Edge Malice in competition bike, Shane Reed in super stock, and WA's own Connor McClure in competition eliminator.
Yay!
Yay.
Well done.
A lot of those brackets really came down to final event points, and for those competing in both ANDRA and NDRC championships, it's been quite a full calendar for those, and I think we're all kind of feeling a bit of the push and extra pressure with, of course, rising fuel prices, but also it seems like on the East Coast it's trying to get some methanol is a bit scarce these days as well. So yeah, big effort for
the junior drag bike. Alan Reinhardt was talking to Jack Kopler. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
And he was really blown away by the junior drag bike class. He said, that is really something incredible that they got going on in Australia. And I was a bit surprised because we always think of America as allowing the younger people, but they don't really have regional tracks. Have something like some regional tracks.
Yeah, I was trying to think because I felt like I can't recall whether I spoke to someone over there about it quite a while ago when we were first bringing it in, and I can't recall whether they actually have it over there. What they do have though is they have a junior streetcar program.
Yes,
that the juniors can drive their a standard streetcar with their mum and dad as the passenger. And that's cool.
Yeah, that is very, very cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
I like that.
That's what Reinhardt said. He said that in some instances, kids don't want to do the junior dragsters. They want to get straight into that.
Yeah,
and that's something that we don't have here that we should.
It's I guess the thing when I think about that, last time I checked, for America junior dragsters, you could start at 5, and I think this streetcar junior racing was like 14.
But you
know, and so that's to say you don't want to be doing juniors, you just want to wait until you're 14. For me, I could see that as being something that I would have done because I got introduced to the sport when I was 14, and we were like, oh, it's only 2 years of juniors until we go adult. Do we? Don't we?
They have inter-school comps, which I thought was
that's cool.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Nothing like
Can you imagine that back in the day? Bob Catter and Servite.
Would have been. And the Chisholm
Aaron
boys
Moore.
as well. Aaron Moore.
Gosh, seeing the rivalries that went on.
Looking at your year group, you guys would have smoked them.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
I've never met Simon's year group at Servite is one of the, even to this day, would be the biggest combination of motorheads in one year group.
Really?
You have
you got Melio, PK, German. I mean, German wasn't like cutting them up.
Rock.
Who was there? Someone at the school influencing this? Like, did you have a
me and
did
Emilio?
You have a mechanical workshop class? Or
no, we didn't. That's the thing.
I did a same marks
type thing. Like,
no, we were just rev heads. Me and Emiliano were like full on into it from the from the get go.
Yeah.
Marco.
Yeah, Marco was passionate about, still is passionate about his Fiat and
Kevin.
Fiats in general. Yeah, Kev, right into PK definitely. I mean, PK started with a body shell.
Yeah.
When we were 15.
Yeah.
And he said, "This is what I'm going to do."
Tootie.
Yep.
So you never met a group of guys that has just like they're full on.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
Vince Lulio.
Yeah.
Even Jason. Jason had the Monaro back in the day.
Yeah.
Alfado, the VL.
Yeah, Alf, yeah.
That was like the VLX copy was the car.
Yeah.
Because they were nearly new.
They were new. Yeah, they were new.
That was...
many high school kids having new cars.
They weren't, it was next copy. So it was brand new. But look now. Mate, the amount of times I see Ferraris and BMWs and Mercedes with P plates.
Where are you
on
spending your time?
I've seen them around Malaga.
Visiting me at work. No.
Yeah. The kids and the motorbike guys.
Yeah.
Imagine their kids, the cars they're going to be driving.
I know. It is pretty crazy. Like, you know, the cars that I felt like for me and my older sisters particularly, that our friends group, they looked like old cars, you know.
Yeah.
And then you see someone today and they're complaining about their car's old, but it actually still looks like it looks like it still fits in with the new car.
But, you know, things are different. Like, throughout our parents or you know, older cousins or whatever, every decade seemed to have a style. And then when you get to 2000, kind of just stops.
Yeah, and that's it. It is like, you know, it gets, once we got into the curves, you know, once we got into the curves and everything started looking curvy, and it doesn't fit the more boxier, sharper angles of the designs that cars previously had. I feel like it's strange, like some cars are some models are still kind of going down that curved line, and
now it's a lot of angles.
Yeah, like
the angles are back.
One of the girls at work's just bought a Kona.
Yeah.
Kona, right? And that's got a lot of curves in it, but it's also really sharp curves. But then I feel like a lot more of the SUVs, they're all kind of gaining inspiration off your Land Rovers.
Has hers got the iPad, or has it got the?
It's got a really long one. Like it's got a it's like it's like the what is
widescrreen TV.
X screen. What is it called at the cinemas when you go in and it's the extra wide one? It's like, gosh.
So they're talking about making that illegal, but I don't think it's going to get any traction.
I mean, I tell you what, like when some of the things that they would say is dangerous driving because you're distracted, you know, and I'm talking about when we'd see people trying to complain against, they got done because they were eating a hamburger, and it's, no, you're distracting. It's distracting. Like,
have you got a screen in your car?
No, it's strangely like, I feel as if Nissan has been a bit behind, because for when I got my car, what year was it? Maybe 2001. It was when the car yards were very empty with COVID. You know, it was quite hard to get a car, and so we had a price range. I wanted 7 seats to be able to pick up school friends and stuff. And so for within our price range, it was like between the Nissan X-Trail and the Mitsubishi Outlander. And I was like, just get what's available, you know, see what's available. And I'm not going to be too specific there. They both fit the bill because it's my mum car. So my specifications didn't need to fit in my criteria of what I would. It was my mum car.
Nicole?
But the Mitsubishis for the same years were far more advanced with their technology and interior than, you know, Mitsubishi already had the colour touch screen and Nissan's, you know, it's
still
grey and
dials
orange. Grey and orange with dials. It's not touch screen,
I had
but it's
the
not
same
even colour.
X-Trail as you for a little while there, and it was the
2018 or 19, I think mine is.
Nicole's has got the iPad, or whatever you want to call it, the Android. And to just turn the fan off.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, my God. Yeah, and I can understand why there's so many accidents, because you have to physically look at it. You have to go through a bunch of screens and then figure it out. It's just, it's dumb. Like having a knob where you can just turn it off.
Yeah.
You don't even need to look at it.
Well, on the range, you've got a choice. You can do it on the screen, the fan, or there is an actual knob.
Nah, her car hasn't. Her car's got a temperature up and down button. But if you want to turn it off, or you want to move it to the windscreen,
it's not right.
It's like when you think that they started to move and put some of these controls on our steering wheel.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to be looking and reaching across and navigating the buttons on there. But now how complex.
Mate, now all the stuff on the steering wheel, you got all the talk functions, you know, and scrolling for the phone. Then you've got the lane assist, the cruise control, you know, and then the flappy paddle, because they've all got flappy paddle now. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, anyway. Anyway.
Suddenly those old school boxy cars don't seem so bad after all.
I know.
So have you guys noticed that there's been a real push this EV they're making, the EV's 13,000 sales this month and EVs to the front, and you guys noticed that
I have actually. I've noticed it's been on the forefront.
The problem has been the charging stations. There's been a few YouTubers that have been going around taking videos of all the cars lined up. They're obviously lined up because they're about to run out of mileage and they need to plug in, and there could be 10, 20 cars lined up waiting, which would suck if you're there for there's been a real push to get these regional charging stations.
Where are those lines though? Because can't people charge them at home?
Yeah, but you need to get home to charge it.
Yeah.
Well, it costs you money when you charge it at home.
The reason one of the reasons.
Oh, are they free?
In the shopping centres are.
I didn't know that. I thought you swiped.
No? Free.
Look, one of the reasons why I wouldn't own an electric car is because I am notorious for running my fuel tank empty.
Yeah. And you would have range anxiety is the technical term that they use for the EV.
Yeah, and I just wouldn't be able to risk that. I know that I would fall into the trap of being flat battery on the side of the road too often.
Well, I got a list here of these charging stations that they're building across Australia to help this. So we've got Kaiguna, Baladonia, Madura, Mundrabilla, Eucla, Cockabiddy, Erindunda, Adelaide River, Catherine, Tennant Creek, Nullarbor Roadhouse, Border Village, Yatla. That's how you say it. You might as well do the rest of these.
No, I don't know how to say it.
I'll tell you what, I'm really enjoying this hearing you try and pronounce words because it's usually me.
Yeah. Arkarula, Alpha, Calliope, Dingo, Wilcannia. Now, the thing is, though, these new charging stations that they're building, they're calling them hybrid. Right? And I'm doing the inverted commas here. Hybrid charging stations. So they will use a combination of solar, wind, and diesel.
I'll put a little drum roll in there, post edit.
Oh.
I'll pause that out. Wait for it.
Diesel. Right? So, when I say that they're going to use wind, I'm not sure that they're going to have a wind farm to run it.
Yeah.
Right.
With all due respect, some of those places, right, don't have electricity. Don't have wind or some of them are generated by diesel genset 24/7.
Correct.
So putting an EV charging station there.
Now this is the problem, okay? So when you set up a genset somewhere and you have all this rigmarole to then, convert the diesel into electricity and transfer it into the EV, you could use as much as 3 times as much diesel as just driving the car off the diesel, having a diesel car. So my question is, number one, is this a smart move for the government to be encouraging this, right? And number two, when we run out of diesel, how are they going to charge the EVs?
What's going to be the priority when our
the priority
is scarce?
There was earlier today, I watched the Sydney Institute, I think it was, put out a video. This economist for the Judea Bank, I think it's called, or something like that. Really, really smart guy. I reached out to him on LinkedIn because it was a fantastic. Because he's saying, listen, we're in big trouble. We are in massive trouble, and no good blaming anyone. Both of them have had plenty of time to sort this stuff out, and it's not just we are net positive energy exporter, like by a country mile, right? So, between the gas, the oil, we export way more than we use, right? But we are net negative in the finished product, right? Now, he goes, I have searched high and low and reached out to all my contacts. This guy's been an economist for 30-something years and worked with federal government, and he could not get the exact figures on how much diesel we use. And the reason for that is because a lot of that diesel comes in kind of under the table, where mining companies source it direct, so the same ship that's carrying the iron ore out is carrying the diesel in, so it doesn't go through the usual channels. The other reason is if people knew how much pollution the mining puts into the atmosphere, because none of those mining vehicles have AdBlue, catalytic converters, DPFs, etc., they would be horrified. Like those people that vote teal on the East Coast would have a pink fit if they realised how much damage, if you are concerned about CO2. And that's why they restrict these figures, because it's very easy to work out how much mum and dads are using, right? That's a pretty straightforward. Well, there's this many ranges on the road, that they get this much miles per gallons, so this is how much they use. When you see the figure that's involved in mining, I mean, I remember when I was working in the mines, I would see road train after road train, each road train carrying 90,000 litres of diesel, just one after the other, going into the mine site. Those dump trucks are working 24/7, right? So we have a big problem, and it seems as though everyone, I mean, you would think now with everything that's happening, that this government, you're in power now, so you are the guys that have to do something about it, that they would go, we need to fix this. And it wouldn't be that hard. It really wouldn't be that hard. If we nationalised our oil, right? You don't have to kick Shell Exxon or whoever's got the oil. You don't have to kick them out. You have to just say to them, listen, you can keep doing what you're doing, but that oil's got to come to us first, right? We're going to get our share, and then whatever's left over that we don't use, that can go to export, right? But they won't do that. They won't even do that in Victoria. So in Victoria now, it is illegal to build a house with gas fittings in it, right? But they export the gas. They're telling people this is our green policy, but they're exporting the gas, right? That's just, you're just lying. And this is, I think, the underlying problem that we have. And I'm going to get off my high horse so we can move on to the NHRA. The underlying problem that we have right now is that we all just accept that politicians are going to lie to us, and there's no recourse for that. And I think that's horrific, because what sort of an example... I mean, how do you expect your kids or my kids to not lie to us if they're watching politicians just flat out lie on TV every single day? Yeah. Chalmers has warned us of what's coming. The GST is probably going to go up. Capital gains discount is probably going to get taken away. So as these people that, if we go into a full-blown recession, these people want to offload the houses, that bit of money that they've made, say your mum and dad invested that bought 2-3 years ago, and they've made, like $100,000 on their place or whatever, they're going to have to pay massive amounts of tax on that, right? You're not going to fix the problem. You're not going to fix the problem by you saying that we're going to let all these people in because we need these skilled workers that are going to build these houses for everyone to live in, but they're actually driving Uber Eats. You're not going to fix the problem. You need to go, no, look, sorry, buddy, you aren't a bricklayer. This Uber is not a bricklaying company. I'm sorry, you can't stay in the country. You have to go. You need to have a little bit of that. And I'm not saying that, the ICE raids and all that is good, but you can understand the frustration of the Americans and why Donald Trump got voted in. Because he said, we're going to close the borders. We're going to shut this down. We're going to send the illegals back. Right? They got massive support. There are people still now with all this war stuff that's going on that still support him just for the immigration. Because they're saying, yeah, okay, he's done all of that. There's not much we can do about it. But look at what he did for immigration. Look at how much safer these cities are. We're seeing a lot of that now. There's places in Victoria that you can't walk around at night. You're going to get mugged. Their government is bankrupt, and that they're probably going to vote Labor back in. It just seems like, what are you guys doing? Like, you're not voting on policy. You're voting on an ideal because, maybe your dad voted for them or whatever. We need something to change. And I mean, how insulting is it for the government? We know we're heading into this recession to spend $20 million on an advertising campaign to tell us to take our roof racks off, pump up our tyres, and empty our boots. And that's just ridiculous.
It was good for the memes, but...
Look, between that and the Strait of Hormuz, open, closed, it has been a good time for memes. Memes are definitely...
And that flashback to that commercial in the 70s where the government wanted you to save fuel. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was
cartoon.
Hot ad.
Everyone was in the nude.
Everyone was naked, yes.
Yeah. What was the logic
very
there?
70s.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, they're rehashing it. It was a commercial
Yeah.
from the 70s. You know, like, yeah, I remember those commercials.
All right, the Lucas Oil Winternationals In-N-Out Burger Pomona drag strip. The Winternationals were held on the... No, that's today's date. They were last weekend, wasn't it?
No, that's it. That's the date
That's today's
that I
date.
wrote it. That's
That's today's date. It
Yeah.
wasn't the weekend just gone. It was the weekend beforehand, which was the...
no, it was last weekend.
Yeah, it was last
Yeah.
weekend, yeah.
The one just...
Yeah, just
We
gone.
just had it.
Correct.
Gosh, I feel like that. I actually watched it, so I'm confused. Rain, rain, go away was the chant that could be heard as the NHRA ran a successful... You're going to check this and you're wrong, you know. It wasn't the weekend because Trent was watching IHRA and I said, is it on this weekend? And he said, no. He said, no, he was
When did
watching
we record?
Sportsman. We recorded on a Wednesday and it was that weekend
Yeah, it was that
coming.
weekend.
Yeah. No,
So-
he was
Yeah,
watching
which was last
Sportsman on the
weekend.
weekend. Not the one, we're Monday today. Okay.
Oh, yeah, not the weekend we just had, but
No,
yeah,
the one
before.
the one before.
Before. Yeah, I'll tell you.
You want to give me a date?
The 12th.
Yeah, 9th to the 12th. April 9th to the 12th. Anyway,
Shall I start that again?
if you want. What?
The NHRA Lucas Oil's Winternationals In-N-Out Burger Pomona drag strip national event was held on the weekend of the 12th, and Rain Rain Go Away was the chant that could be heard as the NHRA ran a successful rolling schedule to ensure that the event was completed before Sunday's regimented curfew of 8 p.m. The standard Pomona operating permit allows racing engines to run between 9:30 a.m. and 6 p.m.
You know, I saw a comment on Reddit where someone was explaining how drag cars don't have rain tyres or wipers. And it's too dangerous for them to race in the wet. I just thought these kids are going to be running the world one day. Great work by the NHRA.
On Thursday, the NHRA elected to move forward round one eliminations for several sportsman categories like stock, super stock and others to ensure they could be completed. Saturday also saw some sessions affected by both rain and overnight rain that reset track conditions. The Bracket Bash event scheduled for Saturday was cancelled entirely.
Sunday's start of eliminations was delayed by more than 2 hours because of morning showers. Originally scheduled for 10 a.m, cars did not hit the track until 12:35. But what an event it was. Let's start with qualifying. Track conditions threw all the teams a curveball.
Pomona is well known for being one of the fastest tracks on the circuit. The air always brings a lot of horsepower with it, but the normally impeccable track surface needed to get some rubber on it. With all the rain and rescheduling, the track was still green and teams needed to tippy-toe their way down the track.
Easier said than done with 12,000 horsepower on top. Q1 of Top Fuel saw only 6 cars get down the track, with Sean Langdon's topping the charts and teammate Doug Coletta right behind. Q2 saw an improved 9 cars make it down under full power. Lee Pruitt topping the charts in this session.
By the end of qualifying, Leah Pruitt held her number 1 spot, followed by Josh Hart and Sean Langdon's earlier pass holding third. And it was teammate Doug Coletta over crowd favourite Maddie Gordon who took out the Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge, taking home the bonus money and the bonus points.
In the funny car ranks, the story was much the same, with only 6 cars dipping into the 4-second zone, let alone the 3-second zone. It was Jason Rupert that topped Q1 and Spencer Hyde taking the 2nd spot. But as the rubber built up and the track got tighter and the times were going to drop.
In Q2, Alexis DeJoria was the first funny car to dip into the 3s with a 3.98 with a 9. Teammate Jordan Vandergriff from John Force Racing, the only other funny car with a 3-second time slip with a 3.951. By the end of qualifying, it was JR Todd from the Coletta Motorsports team that topped the ladder and the only funny car in the 3/8.
But unlike his teammate, JR Todd went out in the first round of the Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge. The finals saw cattle rancher Matt Hagan defeat a wheel-spinning Paul Lee to take the bonus points and the bonus money.
Pro Stock was a different affair with all but Matt Hartford getting down the track in Q1. Hartford's shaking the tyres straight out of the hole. Greg Anderson leading the charge with a 6.583, but all eyes were on Dave Connolly filling in for Cody Coughlin and reminding everyone he can still drive.
Anderson went on to lead every round of qualifying except for Q4, which was headed by Greg Stanfield from Elite Motorsports. The other Stanfield, Aaron, made it to the Too Fast, Too Tasty final, but was beaten to the stripe by 00 Dallas Glen after shaking the tyres on the hit.
By the time eliminations came round, so did the track, and the stage was set for those big Pomona numbers that we were all used to seeing. First round was a mixed bag with 5 cars not getting down the track and Leah lifting early on her solo pass.
A surprising Antron Brown being one of them, losing to Billy Torrance. Tony Schumacher and Sean Langdon having a pedal fest, with Langdon taking the win. Low of the round went to Josh Hart, driving for John Force Racing, with a 3, 6.9 with an 8. And the only one to dip into the 360s.
In round 3, Justin Ashley unloaded one of his famous 025 lights on Doug Coletta. Let me scan ahead. Did you see that like all of his lights were 025?
No.
Literally, so consistent on the tree.
Yeah,
I feel like it was the last one that then he was like a 0.3.
They should call him the lumberjack because he sure cuts that tree down.
He really did. Justin Ashley unloaded one of his famous 025 lights on Doug Coletta, who only trailed by less than 100ths with a 034. But identical 3.705 lap times meant the win went to the quicker reacting Ashley.
In the other pairing, Tony Stewart outreacted Sean Langdon with an 0.42 to Langdon's 0.48. But it was Tony's quicker 3.701 to Langdon's 3.718 that helped dispose of the second Coletta car. What a pair of drag races, and how far has Tony Stewart come as a driver? He has really come a long way as a driver.
Absolutely. The final was by far the biggest test of the Elites Motorsports owned Tony Stewart-driven team. The team did not exist a few months ago. To put together a team, get sponsors, being J&L carriers and qualifying is one thing, but to make a final on your third outing, that's something else. Ashley was first out the gate with a 0.36. So I told you it was a 0.3 in the last one. Stewart was right behind with a 0.47. By 60 foot, Stewart had narrowed the margin. By half track, he had the lead and held on for the win. He was really emotional in his... You could see the emotion in his face and in his voice for his interview post-race. And I like him more and more the more that I...
The thing is,
speak.
You know, as a driver, reaction times are it.
Oh,
right?
he was saying, like he was saying after the semis that he knew that it was going to be on the tree, and that he would, you know, they all know that Justin Ashley's.
He's the lumberjack.
Winning. He's got a fast car, but he is.
Yeah.
He is.
And the thing is, you can cheat the tree by rolling it in a bit, right?
He doesn't play any line games. He's
no, not Justin.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that he's the best lever in the class, but Tony Stewart knows that he can cheat a little bit by rolling it in. But then you see it in the 60-foot time, and the thing is, he showed that he can be right there with the best of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He impressed himself.
Yeah.
That was, you know, but like it was just so good. You know, I'm an Erica fan. I also like Freeman. I don't like Elite. I know that sounds weird because he owns them, and you know she's their star driver, but they always kind of have this bit of an arrogance to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they have really suffered the last couple of years compared to KB Titan with their performances. But great to see this Top Fuel operation come together so fast and get their first win. You know, real tip of the cap to those guys, professional outfit. You know
I just think with the amount of experience Tony Stewart has driving, you know, and the profile that he's made for himself with NASCAR, it's like he could have that attitude about him, but he is being really genuine and sincere, and you can see how much these wins mean to him, and winning the event, but the
Michelle,
rounds
I think
as well.
when you get in a car that goes 530 kilometres an hour, it's a humbling experience.
And that's the thing as well, because he was vocal about that straight away, and a lot of people, you know, you say you drag race, you can go in straight line, you can't do the corner.
You try it.
This, you know.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, I like him.
In funny car, round one only had one upset, but it was the biggest one. Austin Prock getting taken out by Jason Rupert. Proc had shown some promise in qualifying, putting the car in the top half of the field in 5th spot, but it all came crashing down when he struck the tyres just before half-track, running a slowing 494 to Rupert's 428.
Were you upset? In round 2, Alexis, Rupert and Beckman all smoked the tyres, while Chad Green and Jordan Vandergriff had a drag race, with Jordan getting a decent hole shot, a 0.61 to an unusually slow 1.14 from Green. Jordan never looked back with a 3.91 to Green's 3.97.
Todd and Vandergriff were eliminated in the semis, leaving Ron Capps to face off against Matt Hagan. The race between Capps and Vandergriff was a nail-biter. 8,000 separated them on the start line, Capps' advantage, and Capps took the win with a 3.86 to Vandergriff's 3.88 to Vandergriff's 3.88.
In the final, Capps took the starting line advantage with a 0.47 to Hagan's 0.57. By the 330-foot mark, Hagan had the lead and held on a 3.893 to Hagan's 3.876. The margin of victory, 3 feet, less than a metre. Remember, these cars are going 330 miles per hour. That's 530 plus kilometres per hour. And this made the double up for Tony Stewart and finished off a stellar weekend for him and his team.
That leaves us with Pro Stock. A lot of pressure was on Cody Anderson. The last 2 events have ended in first round red lights, but not this one. This time he drew Erica Enders, and she won on a hole shot. An 0.14 on a 6.547 to Cody's 0.18 on a 6.546. 3 1,000ths of a second. If it wasn't bad enough that he has to fill his father's boots, he has to race one of the all-time greats in round 1. Better luck next time.
Another unfortunate matchup was 00 Dallas facing KB Titan teammate Matt Hartford, also in round 1, with Hartford shaking out of the hole and watching Glenn drive away for the victory. Fill-in driver Dave Connolly taking out Cody Coughlin's cousin, Troy Coughlin Jr.
Round 2 didn't hold any surprises. The KB Titan team returning the favour with Dave Connolly taking out Erica Enders. The others to make it through were Greg Stanfield, Dallas Glenn and Greg Anderson.
In the finals, it was Greg and the Dallas show. The KB Titan team once again showing their dominance in the Pro Stock ranks. 00 Dallas did not disappoint with a 003 against Anderson's 018. By 60 foot, they were neck and neck, with Anderson making up some of the gap. Anderson had the lead by half track but only by 1,000th of a second, but he held that margin, crossing the finish line 23 inches in front of Glenn. That's less than half a metre.
Next race is the NHRA 4-wide Nationals at ZMAX Dragway, North Carolina, April 23rd to 26th. Couple other notes that I got here. The price of classic cars has taken a big hit. So if you're thinking about buying that Tirana that you always wanted, now is the time. I don't know whether it's going to recover. So we're
down a bit more, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so. We are pre-COVID prices now. Not so much for the immaculate, the
show cars,
$200,000 sort of cars. They're keeping their value. It's more the $30,000 project that he started. He's got the LS and the gearbox and the diff.
What do you think the reason might be behind that?
No one's got money.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of drag cars on the market over east, like dirt cheap. You can buy a chassis car for $15,000.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't even be able to build a diff for $15,000. You know what I mean? It's it's just everyone's tightening the belt a bit. They're thinking, can't afford to race it. I need to offload it. A lot of the
stuff, it's passion and hobby, and so even when you think about extended working hours and how much. Yeah. I just always say gone are the days of single income households, and both partners in the family have to work for majority of households these days, and then to be able to have a expensive hobby on the side. Yeah. It stretches it, that's for sure.
If there's 4 to 7 interest rate rises as they're expecting coming up, then I'm not saying a lot of these cars are on loan or on mortgage.
Nah, but you got to pay a mortgage.
But if you're paying a mortgage, then that's the good way to reduce the mortgage is get rid of these cars.
Yeah. So I've said to so many people in the last month or so, like, I I got to give Trent some praise here, because I haven't been giving him as much as I really should be. But in all seriousness, like, I am so fortunate that I have a husband that we have a shared passion for, and that we have that, you know, mutual understanding with our dedication to drag racing and with what we spend with our time and our money. And we really see the value in the memories that we're making all together as a family.
Yeah.
Yours is methanol driven. Nicole and I have a passion too. It's alcohol driven.
Different type of alcohol. It's just, you know, and then I have that amazing support of him, and even in the last few years when he's been out of the seat and still supporting me, and now in recent weeks, month, for me travelling for the national series without him and still being in support of that. You know, I'm so fortunate that I am in that position. But I've also had the advantage of, you know, I entered the sport with my dad.
Yeah.
And so I entered the sport with my dad. My dad bought the race car, I was driving it, and then when my dad had interest, that led him in a different direction, and he moved further away. It said, you know, the car's yours. My dad was always very mindful of keeping things equal between my sisters and I. He said, you know, I've helped them out in other ways. Your car's yours to do what you want with, and whether you want to sell it. But, you know, he said, you've got my blessing if you want to do that. But if you want to continue racing, then you got to be doing it yourself. And, you know, at that point, Remote Area Concrete was being closed down. He's started it back up since, but he was winding that out. But I've never seen that value of my race car purchase as a missing sum in my bank account.
No.
And then I don't have the partner saying, hey, we could really do with that, the money that car's worth in there, because it was never part of it.
Yeah.
I never took it out to then add back
There
in.
is hundreds, if not thousands, of WA families that have a race car sitting in their shed. And the reason they're not running it, you know, look, we always talk about this cost of living and blah, 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 right? We've been there, right? We would jump the fence and go and take the carcasses of tyres to bring them as trade-ins for recaps so that we had racing tyres on our cars, because you just did whatever you needed to do to go racing, right? I don't think that's changed. I think that what's changed is if you go down there and, you know, like let's take this point in time, right? As Nicole gets to know more people like yourself and someone feels more comfortable down there, the kids get old enough to run junior dragster, we start hanging out, you know, maybe go to the Alexander together every once in a while. She's going to be like, all right, I get it. You know, it's a bit of a family. Everyone has a good time. The kids like it, blah, blah, right? But let's say you've done this for years, okay? And, you know, you've been on committees, you've been on boards, you've done newsletters, you've done all this stuff, and, you know, someone pisses you off, right? Or someone takes over there and changes things, or the purple circle changes or whatever. It's very easy for you to go, you know what, this costs a lot of money, it takes a lot of my time, my kids aren't doing it anymore, they're not interested in it, and you move on. But the car, it's like, you know, you keep it because you go, well, maybe one day I'll go back down there.
But how many, like, I certainly know a lot, and, you know, I'm mid-30s and you know, that says enough. But
you're 21,
like,
Michelle.
I'm 21. I actually
21.
wrote that on the work calendar, and my birthday was like 21. See how long I can get away with it.
You know the rules, don't you?
But,
I do.
Girls are 21 until they're 60, and then they become 30.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
But, like, how many people do you know that sold their cars because of the pressures at home, or the relationships fell apart because there wasn't that understanding with their passion of their automotive motorsport
But I'll tell
life?
you now, that's true, but I'll tell you now, that number times probably 30 or 50 is how many people have got the cars in a shed and don't want to pull them out because they've got the shits on with someone down there. You know, and it's sad because we had a really good time when we were racing.
Yeah.
And we didn't have, if we had bad blood with someone, it was between the start line and the finish line. You know, after that, it was, you know, especially if it was a good race. If it was a good race, even if you didn't like the guy because of whatever, you'd still give him a hug and go, that was awesome, you know?
Yeah.
We've lost a lot of that. We've lost a lot of that. I think the problem, and this is politics across the board, whether it be drag racing politics or federal politics, you need to be transparent. You need to be able to stand up in front of your people, right, the other racers, and say, well, what would you like to have changed? What would you like to see change? You need to be able to have an open discussion, right? If you don't have that, it just bubbles away and it breeds contempt, right? We're seeing it in America now. They're trying to pass a law in California. There's this one YouTuber who has gone, and we've got a few of them in Australia, that he's going around and he's showing people, this is what you're paying for, because there's all these scams going on, right? NDIS is what's happening in Australia at the moment, okay? NDIS, there is like not tens of millions, like it's a big number of just scams, people writing invoices and getting paid for nothing. And that's why Chalmers is sort of suggesting that we need to look at it, because there's YouTubers that are out there exposing it, right? But in California now, they're trying to pass a law, but it's illegal for, like, you can get up to 10 years jail, you know, and these ridiculous fines if you expose this waste that's going on. And that is not good. That's a cancer that will eventually destroy that society. And I think it's the same. We need to be able to talk about this stuff. We need to have, and we used to do that. The West Side meetings, you'd have Pikey there, you'd have, and because it was cheaper to join West Side and get your ANDRA membership that way as part of the club than joining ANDRA directly, everyone was a member of West Side in WA. We had the biggest. I
didn't know that.
Yeah, and they changed that because they wanted to bust up the club system.
Right.
And WASMA, you know, worked for a while. Now they've amalgamated the two, but I don't think it's the same. I mean, it's easy to fix at the drags. We just have a driver meeting. That's all we got to do. It's
like, you know, I just go out and have a good time.
Yeah, I know,
you know
I know.
But it sounds like the things that there might be some things that you want to change, that you think should be ran this way, but it's like the social. Maybe we just put more into our community in the social. When
you do as many of the drag races transmissions and torque converters,
you know a lot of everybody's business.
Yeah, I get to hear. I'm like the priest, the confessional,
confession
room. Right. Forgive me, Gonzo, for I have sinned. And I hear about the track prep. I hear about the big gaps. I hear about the 3-round format. I hear the same story over and over. One of the big ones that I hear all the time is, why don't they make it free for kids to come? Right? Do they not see that they will get more people through the gate and more revenue if they make it free for the kids? Because, you know, once your kids, what is it, 6 or something, the threshold?
I think it's 6,
yeah. 5 and under's free, so 6, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a lot of money. And you're going to spend money at the shops. You're going to, if, I keep saying this, a high tide lifts all boats, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
you get more people in there, you're going to make more money for all the vendors, okay? You're going to get more sponsorship opportunities for the races.
I probably buy food because I have to feed my kids. If it was Trent and I, it would just be like, oh, we'll go through the drive-through on the way home.
You know what I mean? It's just
no, but it's like that's the thing. Then we end up going, oh, well, while I'm here, I may as well get.
You hear the same
a meal
things
at the track too,
over and over and over. And I believe in a democracy. You know, within our family group, there's 4 of us, right? When there's arguing, I say, well, that's not how we do it. This is a democracy. Everyone has a vote, right? And if it's 2 and 2, well, then it's a problem. But it's not normal. It's 3 and 1, right? And the majority rules. That's the way it should be. Wow. It's the same thing at the drags. Like, if the majority don't want the 3-round format, scrap it. And if you don't have enough time to run the qualifying rounds, then, you know, what are you doing? You're robbing the races of that lap anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no advantage. Yeah. Similarly with the prize money, you can't keep cutting the prize money. Like, I know everyone says if you're racing for the prize money, that's stupid, that's ridiculous. What if you're really good and that pays your bills?
Like
we had 2 seasons where we actually put money in the bank.
Yeah.
Right? And Super Street doesn't pay that much, but we were really like, I would do short burnouts.
The drop has been noticeable. Like the drop is really noticeable.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And the problem is,
when you take your entry fee off your winnings, you're like, oh well, and I'm only this far up.
yeah,
you know?
that hasn't gone
kind of
down,
like,
has it? That hasn't
No,
gone
not at
down.
all.
It's gone up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The problem is, if you continue to do it like this, and you've got someone like Cattell, who's got the money to throw around, and he meets the right guy over here that can make stuff happen, you're going to have a competing. I mean, I would not be surprised if someone like that found an airstrip somewhere and said, you know what, it's only going to cost us $20 million to set the track up. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we'll compete against the Motorplex. These are the things that, you know, if you have a really strong group of people, everyone gets along with each other, and we're getting our fair share, we're working together to make it better, we're filling up the grandstands with cars. So the track's making money, the vendors are making money. You know, everyone's happy, right? That is a great thing, and I don't think it's that hard to do. I really don't think it's that hard to do. But when you go to, you know, shows and you see that there's no drag cars present there, and then you find out, well, they could have been there, but no one did anything about it. It starts to create this, you know, that bubbling away, that cancer's brewing. And then people go, oh, no, I don't want to, while they're running it or while they're doing it, you know what I mean? All this bad stuff happens. And it's really not going to help the sport. It's not going to help the sport. Anyway, we need to talk about the NHRA. We're just going to...
We do.
We need to...
Well, I love my friends down at the tracks.
Michelle...
We haven't had enough life issues to be able to have much bad blood between us. Have we, Renee? No.
I don't know anyone down there that I don't like,
That's good.
right? And that's from the very top to the very bottom, okay? I think anyone that's running it, volunteering, racing, sponsoring, you know, I have the utmost respect for those people because, like I always say, there's a million other things they could be doing. So the fact that they choose to do that, something that I love, right? I love them for that. But it doesn't change the fact that you've got to try and keep most of the people happy.
Yeah.
So if one of those people,
Which is difficult.
yeah, but should you keep a small group of people happy or a large group of people happy?
No, but it's the kind of like too many cooks spoil the broth. You know, it's who do all the until we can really articulate and agree on what we actually want to keep us happy, because people are wanting different things.
Are you referring? Can I just butt in there? But are you referring to the 3-round format? Here?
No. Just.
Is that the core of your?
No. That's not the core. That's not the core.
It's my core.
You need to get people in there. If you don't advertise, people don't know the event's on.
Yeah.
Relying on social media is rubbish because more and more people, like myself, I mean, you know, I during the course of the day, I'm building transmissions and listening to podcasts, YouTube, whatever, taking in information. More and more people are abandoning Facebook. They don't want to know about it, right? Because it corrupts them. This is why the government brought in the social media ban, right? You need to go back to that old school on the radio, TV advertising.
It's difficult though, you know, because then coming from my experience, I didn't hear about the EV batteries because realistically, I haven't watched TV. I listen to Spotify when I'm driving.
They didn't make a big deal about it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about that.
It wasn't as big a deal. They didn't.
Jeff Parry gave that a pretty good red hot run.
Did he get up there and say, you know, look, this is what happens when you set off?
He did actually. He gave. I felt he was actually went pretty hard at even the owner of the premises as well.
You know,
I'll dig that up for you because he had a really opinion. He's supposed to be a journo and give an overall view. He gave his opinion and it was quite confronting, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'll show it. Jeff Parry, I'm not a big fan, but yeah, he certainly had a view on that story.
Well, you know, that was just my example, really,
Yeah.
in all honesty. But what I'm getting at, you know, like I remember when I was a kid and living with my parents, you know, they would sit down to watch the news. You know, I'm not watching TV, realistically, the TV's off. If it's on, the girls immediately want something they're watching. I think unless you're paying for an ad that's in between a football game or another big sporting that's going to be viewed, how many people are actually watching free-to-air
Okay,
instead of
all right.
devices?
Just
However, I don't have the time these days to be sitting down and watching TV. I choose my specifics on my radio, on my Spotify playlist, so I don't hear any ads there. But if I do have 5 minutes that I'm waiting in line somewhere, waiting for the girls to finish putting their shoes on, I will open up social media and have a flick through, because it's easy, have a glance, put away. And that's where I see my news headlines, a bit shamefully to admit. You've
been to a lot of factories over the years.
Yep.
They got radios playing in the background?
Yep.
Okay, how effective would the good old-fashioned John Zappia...
Yeah, it's most certainly still
100%, right? Why can't we go back to that? We've got a marketing partner in a radio station. How hard would it be? They still do it for the Speedway.
Yeah.
Why don't we do it for the drags?
Well, maybe they will.
Okay. Similarly, coming at ya,
Yeah.
right? Works really well.
Mm-hmm.
The programs works really well.
Yeah.
Right? Now, we can sit here and theorise about all this stuff, right? But if you just grabbed a bunch of racers, right, and sat down with them and say, hey, what would you change? I guarantee you that those things would be, forget about 3-round format, forget about any of that.
Well, we had Gavin say that, he was working on a streaming for our drag racing events at the end of the last season.
That a lot of people say to me, why they're not racing, what's the point? What do you mean, what's the point? You go down there and there's a couple hundred people in the crowd.
My question to them would be what was ever the point then?
Well, I mean, when we did it, it would be rare to see a poor crowd. I mean, sometimes
are you doing it for no,
you're not.
It is hard because racing in Sydney for their state round. But again, I get so much enjoyment out of that crowd interaction because I was the spectator.
Yeah.
And I say that it would be really hard continuing on to race if and when my girls lose interest. It would be extremely hard to still do it without them. The thing that makes me feel at ease spending the time and money is because we do it all together. But that's the thing, I've made it what for. Trent and I have built our lives around what for. It's because it's ours.
But Michelle, your marketing strategy is different, right? You're a very modern racer. You're very focused on the social media marketing. And look, I believe that this is 100% the way forward, exactly what you're doing, right? But the thing is, let's say, for example, this fan has found you on social media and then they've come down to the track. Would you not want them to come to a track that's full, where people are cheering and it's got some atmosphere? How would they feel if they came to the track and there was no one there?
Look, I know that we haven't had our stands as full as they once were, but after some recent experiences, I'm I feel pretty fortunate for what we do have. It can certainly get better, but my number one in what would be my first thing, if I was to go with my marketing hat across to the drag racing side, you are building your fan base with education, so they actually know what the racing is. I say I call the groups games because it's what's the games of each group, because so many spectators that come down don't actually understand or know that, and I get asked these questions of why I don't leave until why my light leaves last, or why
But we've lost that. We've lost that.
Yeah.
We had that with Richie and Stewie Bond. And those two would always talk about their want for making videos to talk about tyre shakes. When there's an oil down, they could put something on the big screen.
Yeah.
And they could have this discussion. How do the superchargers work? How does mechanical injection? There's millions of topics.
Yeah, and it's great. And Phil Reed's been doing a lot with that, but it's like we shouldn't be relying on the racers to do their own. But when I come across to the other side of things about how I brand and market, as much as I post on social media and I make it all bright and attractive and such, it is difficult. I remember when I first started a racing page, when Facebook went into the business models, and I had some questions like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you doing that?
No.
How many people that then deck out? Now, I have so much more confidence now being at the racetrack because I'm a mum, because I have my established role and identity and clear direction and clear view from the outside perspective of who I am and who I'm influencing or attracting, right? Because that could get a bit lost before and people could make their own. But there are people that would say, I know people that have said it about other cars, Hollywood, show pony, why are we ashamed to be branding and marketing?
Yeah, but
how many racers
hang
feel
on.
comfortable wearing their own race
Hang on a
shirts without
second.
getting called having a bit of
Hang on a
snark at them?
second. Hang on a second. I want to pull you up there, right? Because you know this as well, right? There are certain people down there, okay? And I don't have any ill feelings towards them. But if you went up to them and tried to have a conversation, they would look at you like, right? You're not like that. You will walk out and go and look for that conversation. That is a big difference. And that's part of what people don't get.
You mean the spectators going up?
The spectators go up to them. They don't want to talk to them. They're arrogant. They're rude. And a lot of that isn't that they're really like that. It's that they're shy, right?
100%.
But they don't want to go and get some training and learn how to talk, in front of a microphone, or how to not be shy around people, And then there's others that only know how to talk about drag racing, which you need to be able to talk about everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether it's how to pot a bulb correctly, or put the bait on the hook correctly. You know what I mean? Like. The more rounded you are as a person, more interesting you are, and the more opportunities you're going to get. And that is the big difference between yourself and a lot of the other racers. They're either arrogant or they're shy and they come across as being arrogant. So, look, I don't disagree with anything that you've said, and 100%, a racer that is serious about sponsorship has to have that social media marketing.
Yeah.
They have to really, NHRA Group 1 racers all have a big social media presence, whether they're doing it themselves or they have someone that specifically does that. Ron Capps is a classic example. To me, he has always been the go-to guy when I look at someone that's doing it properly, because he leaves the racetrack, and as much as he loves his family, he will be at a Napa store the next day. Yeah. Right? Yeah. He will do all the Napa stores. He will do signings wherever.
The ads are classic.
The guy, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
But that guy gets probably, I'm going to guess, but it'll be somewhere between $5 and $10 million a year, right? We can't even get the money to pay for our entry. By the time you pay your entry, your fuel, et cetera, it's a $2,000 exercise now every time you go to the racetrack.
So I'll tell you, like, I was a bit, coming back into racing, I felt like there were just a few uncertainties about where our sport was going. And I just couldn't see a clear path to sell to a sponsor. I didn't have a true understanding of it all myself to be able to really sell it to them. And I was like, I just want a bit of a steadier foundation, because if I get this one and I can really only say this season, but actually I want to save them and reach out to them when I know I could say, if you sell with me for 3 years, then we can make something really special, But it was like, without really having a solid foundation and clarity of where the track was going, what the sport was doing, I was a bit apprehensive to bring external partners into the world of drag racing. So fortunate that Danny with Danny Hot Shots is so involved and has such passionate for drag racing herself.
And what a perfect fit. What a perfect fit. That car, the colour, everything. And the thing is, it's not as if that is you. That has always been the colour that's been associated with you. You know what I mean? It's not like, I've wrapped the car that colour because I've got that sponsor.
Yeah.
You know, that is the beautiful thing about that marriage that you two have got.
Yeah, and it's that diversity of standing out in male-dominated industries as much as our female competitors are getting awfully strong, and even more so on the East Coast for modified, the female contestants. But yes, I'm very fortunate for my partnership with Danny, and it is amazing. And I will be back in my car representing her and Denani Hotshots next weekend. Not this coming, but next weekend for the Nitro Champs. And you'll also get to hear my voice and see my face on the TV broadcast for NDRC. I'll be back down in the deep end.
You're doing double duties.
Double duties.
Wow,
Look,
that is full
You said
on.
I had a busy weekend.
That is full on.
I hope that I'll be doing double duties. So this year, the Nitro Champs, they're 3 days. It's the first time it's been a 3-day event. So yet to see the schedule. I think entries close tomorrow, if not tonight. I'm already in, but I got the text message from NDRC saying final call.
We've made that official on the podcast that we have?
No, I don't think. I was going to speak of it last time, but we haven't. I hadn't mentioned that yet, so I've been asked to come back on for the Nitro Champs with NDRC, and so I'm really excited for that because obviously I definitely wanted to do it, but wasn't sure whether it was something that they were willing to work with because I'm competing. I did say to Andy that I might have to take a leaf out of Chad Nalon's book and be wearing my race suit down the bottom end.
Mate, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I was just thinking now, how cool would it be?
I really need a new race suit.
Step out of the altar, grab the microphone, interview the top fuel winner.
Look, here's hoping, because it's a 3-day event, it's elimination rounds, and broadcasting's just on Sunday. So I really do hope that I'm doing double duties and I'm still in with a fighting chance, but yet to see the schedule to see when our eliminations start and how many will be spread over onto the Sunday. But
very exciting, Michelle.
Yes, I've got Trent, Trevor, and the girls are coming back over with us again after missing out at the Nitro Nationals.
They can sort the car out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll just leave it up to Luna and Cleo. They've got it. Mini mechanics.
One can hold the handbrake while the other one steers to get it back up the return.
No, I've got them packing the chutes. They've got it good. Fabulous. Well, thanks very much, guys. It's been a great episode, and we will be back in 2 weeks. Can't wait to share you all the news.
Good luck.
Yes, good luck.
All the best.
Absolutely.
Enjoy.
I want to see you holding that trophy when you're giving the last round.
Yeah.
That'll be
no,
fun.
this isn't for you. This is mine. This is my one. Fingers crossed,
Yours
guys.
is coming.
Absolutely. Hopefully I'll have some medal to bring in for you in 2 weeks' time.
All the best, Michelle.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.
See ya.